Okay, Mr. Lali, bringing you in on the conversation. When we say, Mr. Lali, and this is not the first time we're having this conversation about the Khalistani movement in Canada, but when we say that Canada needs to realize what's at stake, what is really at stake? Have we been able to put that point across to Canada ourselves that listen, this is what's at stake if you continue to mess your relations with us? There is now, it seems, Mark Carney has sent out that invitation, right, to Prime Minister Modi. So he's sending out subtle messages that my intention is to fix relations with you. However, we cannot allow, or rather Canada should not be allowing Pakistani flags and Khalistani flags on their streets. It's becoming a nuisance for the locals as well, and I'll come to that in just a moment. But what is it that is at stake as far as Canada is concerned if it continues to sour relations with India over a movement that will possibly never see the light of day as far as India is concerned? And Canada should be concerned about the fact that if there is eventually going to be a Khalistan, it could possibly very well be on their land.
Thank you, Devika. It's a pleasure and honor for me to be here, and I wish to thank NewsX for allowing the space to 87% of the Sikhs who live in India and are very happily living our dream. I mean, we're 1.72% of the Indian population and 8% in the Indian army. So I don't know what referendums and who do these fringe rogues nourished under the bogey of free speech by the deep states wish to represent, be it be the World Sikh Organization or Sikh for Justice. I mean, these are a bunch of, handful of people who are just running around, to various parts organizing, which even the Iranian journalist Mocha said, there are a bunch of them who are just running around and they find, Indians who are vulnerable and who have a case of political asylum, and they, try and gather a crowd. And now to the question of, Canada to an extent was heading the Pakistan way, because for the long time they nourished, these, I only call them the K elements, who definitely are not only funded by ISI, but they are involved in all sorts of nefarious activities and cross-border smuggling, be it drugs, human trafficking, and, even for that matter, prostitution. So I think now the Canadians are also realizing that for a while, we were quiet because, the civil society takes time in warming up, unlike the rogues. So now they realize that if you are not on the right side of India, the fourth largest economy, a $4 trillion economy, obviously you lose out, and especially when a lot of geopolitics and economics is going to happen in the Indo-Pacific. So more than our loss, of course it's a big loss for us because there's a very large diaspora, most innocent Sikhs and most Hindus are going to suffer. But more than that, it's going to be a great loss to Canada. And Devika, there are 22 individuals, Punjabis, who've been elected into the House of Commons. So a lot of these were originally funded by these fringe rogues under the K narrative. I mean, and it's going to take time because Per Poliver and the NDP leaders just last week in Surrey were attending a Nagar Kirtan where Babbar Khalsa's, the band organization's banner was there, and Santokh Singh, who's also convicted for, he was in jail for, I think, 6 years, had a, axe in his hand, and he was talking all sorts of nonsense about India. So I think the Canadians are now realizing it's just that it's going to take time for them to undo, because these people are like cancer. The rot has gotten into the system, be it with the border patrol or be it with the RCMP. So I think it's going to be a while before they come out, but they become more than getting, unhappy or peeved. I find it hilarious of them having the Pakistani flag. I mean, that's a basket case, a country which takes a loan to fund a war, and it's probably for that IMF loan that the ISI, tends to fund these fringe rogues. So I don't know. I mean, if anything, that ought to give you an idea of the level of intelligence and IQ of these individuals who have a Pakistani flag. And one more thing is they're also tend to celebrate, Bhindranwale. And I don't know from where, who allowed them to use the word saint next to it, because had he been a saint, he would not have been inside the temple and allowed Blue Star to happen, because, Blue Star wasn't just Bhindranwale. I mean, it was Congress also involved in it, which is a different discussion for a different day. So I to the best of my strength, register a protest not only against Pakistan's flag being used by these individuals who carry the same article of faith that I do, which is a turban. And now it's embarrassing even for some of us, because now the average Canadian is saying, using the four-letter word and saying, go back to your country. So it's because of these individuals that, some of us will also have to bear the brunt. So I think, Devika, it's very sad, but I think now Carney has realized that, if you're not doing business with the leader of the global South and such a large economy, it's going to be your loss more than us, Devika.
Okay, Mr. Sikka, then bringing you in on that note, and just bear with me, Mr. Sikka, because the demand